everybody, and welcome to Basically Tisha. I know we're in a different spot, and I had plans of being in my homeschool classroom when I made this video, but you have to do what you have to do when you have a baby. So today we're going to talk about using your schedule to your advantage with homeschooling, and I hope that you guys are having a good time enjoying these videos and you're taking notes on what you need to do to start your homeschool classroom. Listen, I am here for you. If you need some extra additional help, please do not hesitate. It's right there, basicallytisha@gmail.com. Send me an email and say, Tisha, I need some extra help on this. I am here for you. There, you know, when I started my homeschool journey, there was not very many people who gave me a lot of information, because to me, the way people think about homeschool is like you can just set it up on your own and you don't need as much information. But to me, you need information on how to do it, especially if you've never done it before. And the closest thing that I had to a classroom was when my mother owned a daycare center. So I kind of knew how to do it. And then I taught Sunday school. But, you know, Sunday school is only for an hour or so. So, you know, scheduling is important. So today we're going to dive into how to schedule your classroom when you're homeschooling. Let's get into it, okay? So you can go to any school around your community and you can pick up a schedule of classes. If you are doing elementary school, pick up an elementary schedule, middle school schedule, elementary school schedule, all right? So what you're gonna do with those schedules is you're gonna mark off the things that you're not teaching in your class. Like, for an example, I started off thinking that I was gonna do PE, but it really didn't work out for me. So cross PE off. You're gonna cross music off unless you're teaching a music class. And a lot of these homeschool curriculums, they do offer like music and stuff like that. So if you're teaching that, that's one thing. But if you're not, cross that off your list. Reading, library time, things like that, cross those off. And once you have all of the extra curriculum off, like PE, recess, you crossed off PE, recess, library time, music, lunch time, you're gonna have about 4 hours, because school is 8 hours a day, right? So once you cross all of those things off, you're gonna have about 4 hours left. That's the time to cram in your homeschool journey, right there at those 4 hours. Now for me, 4 hours is extreme. Why? Because I had to schedule myself. Not only am I a homeschool mom, but I'm a stay-at-home mom. So that means that things in my house need to be done also. I don't have any help. I don't have a maid that comes in or a housekeeper. I hate to use the word maid. I don't have a housekeeper to come in and clean my house. I don't have a nanny to help me with my baby girl. So I had to figure out how I was gonna do it and have enough time to commit to my family and have an organized family life. So 2.5 hours a day is what I carved out. So can you do homeschool in 2.5 hours a day? You can. Will your children learn? Absolutely. The reason why your children will learn is because they're going to learn through repetition. You're going to complete this every day, and you're just about going to say everything the same way every day. So those children will get it in their head, and they're going to remember it, because it's going to become a perpetual cycle for them. And they're going to enjoy it, because they're going to know, I'm only going to be in school for 2.5 hours. And in those 2.5 hours, I've got to learn what I need to learn, or I'm going to be in school a lot longer. That's just the way it happens. Unfortunately, that's the way it happens. So there you go with that. What do I do in my 2.5 hours? Well, I try to break it up by the day. So on Monday and Wednesdays, we will have 3 subjects. So we can have math, science, and history, or we can have math, spelling, and history. And then Tuesday and Thursday, we will have the opposite schedule, where we will have reading, penmanship, and science. And it's easy peasy. You just do it like that. You can do it like a block schedule, or you can do all your subjects every day. I've noticed that if you're doing 2.5 hours, you only need to do about 3 subjects, because it's hard to cram in 6 subjects a day in 2.5 hours. So remember that block schedule that you learned in college. Apply that for your homeschool. It's gonna work for you. Fridays are an optional day. You can spend Fridays having field trips. You can have a field trip with homeschool. You can have a field trip every single week, or you can use your Fridays for tests. In my house, Thursdays are test days. How do I do Thursdays for test days? Well, in those 2.5 hours, we leave 30 to 45 minutes in that last day for test. Do we test every week? Absolutely not. We do not test every week. Is it every Thursday, every week? Absolutely not. There are some weeks that we started a spelling on a Tuesday. Of course, there's not 5 days in there where we can have spelling and we can adequately learn our spelling. So we will take that test on Monday, or we will take that test back on Tuesday. It's according to our schedule. These 2.5 hours leaves time for us to grocery shop, because we are a family and we do everything together because we homeschool. B, cook dinner. C, we catch up on reading our books. My children thrive off reading out loud. This is a time where they can read to each other. Today in class, I needed to mop the floor right in the middle of class. Instead of them being so alarmed about what do I do next, inquisitive enough. I don't know, my kids are just like super duper smart in this area, and I guess they're learning how to cope with homeschool more and more. They decided to create a reading corner. They got together and they read, each of them read 15 minutes apiece. 15 minutes a day builds your vocabulary and it develops your speaking skills. They learned that really, really quick, and they did that. So within those 2.5 hours, you have that opportunity. Now, my children do have cell phones and they do have a social life outside of homeschool. It is just not me. I am not their only friend. Although I would think that I'm their best friend, I am probably not.
But you are.
They are interested in all things kids, and they like to play Roblox. They like to play Minecraft and anything like that. So, do they get to play it after those 2.5 hours? Absolutely not, because those are work hours. Those hours are spent developing character during those hours. So they're also doing chores during those hours that they're not doing. We also can learn computer skills. You can do math. They have one program, it's called the ice cream program. On that program, you get to create your own small businesses. You get to make friends on there. So those are some of the apps that we can use, or we can choose to subscribe to as homeschoolers, and it can help us prolong the day. But honestly, by the time our 2.5 hours are up, we are so tired and we're ready to commit to something else at that point. So reading is just about one thing that they like to do. Another thing they like to do is they like to be creative, and they do create their own skits. They do podcasts and things like that, and if they're not working on them because they can't be on their phones, they are creating scripts and other things for these things. And I feel like that's important, because when you're in kindergarten, the first thing that they let you do is to use your imagination, because imagination is very important. So this gives them an outlet to use their imagination and grow, and it is actually growing more of their mental capacity, their way to express, not just with text but with words, and learning how to put pen to paper so that they won't ever have to struggle with that portion of what's going on there, with that portion of communication. So that is important for me with them. So we just do 2.5 hours of strictly school, and that is like, we don't break for lunch. We may have one bathroom break where if it's warmer, we may walk outside and get some air. We may walk around the house. We have a garden. If it's springtime or summer, we may go out in that garden and pick some fruit or whatever during that time. But for the most part, we try not to take a break, because why do you need a break in 2.5 hours? You don't need a break for that. Also, we have a baby, so we try to work around her schedule, where she's gonna be sleep, what hours in the day she's gonna be most sleep at or more live at. And that just works for us. Before I had the baby, we were working from, we would get up at 9 o'clock and we would work from 9 until about 2 o'clock. And it really wasn't working for us. It really did not work for us. It was too many hours that we spent in a tight room together, and we stopped liking each other. Like, we just couldn't do it. After those 2.5 hours, most of us go to our prospective corners of the house, because again, when you're homeschooling, you need your space. You just do. You need your space. So we take a break and we take our space. We may go in our room. Some of us may go outside. I mean, it ain't but 4 of us, but may go outside. We blog. We do anything like that just to get away from each other, and then we'll come back together for for dinner, and maybe a movie at night or whatever, and then we'll start our day back over. I have written a checklist that we keep every day. If you would like that checklist, again, please email me at basicallytisha@gmail.com, and I can get you that checklist of what we do every day and how we do it. I hope that this helped you in scheduling your homeschool journey. I look forward to seeing you guys Thursday. Have a good